He walked into an abandoned factory thinking he'd find dust and silence, but what Ozzy Osbourne found instead had been waiting for him for over 60 years. If you enjoy deep, emotional, true-to-the-soul stories like this, Backhand Index Point right subscribe to our channel Voices of Darkness. Thumbs up like this video repeat button, and share with your friends. It helps us grow, and it keeps these stories alive. The road back to and the rain fell softly over Birmingham, England. The kind of rain that didn't shout, didn't storm, but whispered. The kind that soaked into brick walls, rusted iron, and memories. A black car rolled slowly through the narrow street of Aston. Inside the car sat a man the world knew as a legend, but today he wasn't a legend. Today he was just John Michael Osbourne's son. Ozzy stared out the window, his iconic round glasses fogged slightly, his hands resting on a cane he barely used but always carried now. Age had slowed his body, but his mind was louder than ever. Right here, the driver said quietly, pulling over. Ozzy looked up, and there it was, the factory, or what remained of it, a long, crumbling red brick building, windows shattered or boarded, iron doors rusted shut, weeds crawling through concrete cracks like veins reclaiming a dead body. Lucas Osbourne's factory, his father's factory. Ozzy swallowed hard. "I'll walk from here," he said. The driver nodded, understanding this was a journey meant to be taken alone. As Ozzy stepped out, the smell hit him. Oil, rust, wet brick. The smell of childhood. The smell of the man who came home every night exhausted but proud at a father made of steel, and Lucas Osbourne never spoke much. He didn't need to. His hands told the story, scarred, cracked, permanently stained black from grease and metal dust. His back told the story, bent early by long shifts and unpaid overtime. His eyes told the rest, tired but never empty. Work's work. Lucas used to say, "Dreams don't put food on the table." Ozzy remembered sitting at the kitchen table as a boy, guitar strings cutting into his fingers, while his father watched silently, and no praise and no encouragement, but also no anger, just silence. And that silence haunted Ozzy more than shouting ever could. When Ozzy dropped out of school, when he sang in pubs, when he got arrested, when he formed Black Sabbath, Lucas never came to the show, never wrote a letter, never said, "I'm proud of you." And when Lucas Osbourne died, quietly, of lung disease from factory fumes, Ozzy was already becoming famous. Too famous to come home. Too broken to face what he'd never earned at the door that shouldn't open. Ozzy stood before the factory side entrance at a door chain shut for decades. He touched the cold metal. "I'm back, Dad," he whispered, feeling ridiculous for talking to bricks. He pulled. The chain snapped. Ozzy froze. He hadn't pulled that hard. The door creaked open like it had been waiting. Inside, darkness swallowed him. He turned on a small flashlight. Dust floated in the air like ghosts. Machines sat frozen mid-work. Conveyor belts, presses, workbenches covered in tools abandoned mid-life. Time had stopped here. Ozzy took slow steps. Each footstep echoed. And with every echo, memories grew louder. His father wiping sweat from his brow. His mother coughing at night. Himself running away from this place as fast as he could. The office in a window at the far end of the factory sat a small office. Wooden door, frosted glass. L. Osbourne, supervisor. Ozzy's heart pounded, and no one had touched that door in decades. He pushed it open. The room was smaller than he remembered. A desk, a chair, a coat hooked, a calendar frozen on 1963, and on the desk, a metal lunchbox. Ozzy stared at it. His father used to carry that lunchbox every day. He picked it up. IT was heavier than expected. Hand shaking, Ozzy opened it. Inside were no sandwiches and no tools, just a single folded piece of paper. Yellowed, brittle, written in thick, clumsy handwriting, Lucas Osbourne's. Handwriting. Ozzy unfolded it and began to read the message left for his son. "If you are reading this, then I am gone. And if you are here, then you came back. I never learned how to say things right. I only knew how to work. I saw you with that guitar. I heard you when you thought I was asleep. You were never weak. You were never foolish. I was afraid you'd leave this life behind and never look back. But I was more afraid that you'd stay and die like me. If the world ever hears your voice, then my work meant something. Dad." The paper slipped from Ozzy's fingers. He sank into the chair. And for the first time in decades, Ozzy Osbourne cried. Not the dramatic kind, not the public kind. but the quiet, shaking sobs of a boy who waited his entire life to hear one sentence. You were never weak. The noise behind the Ozzy sat there for hours, reading the letter again and again and again. Suddenly, the silence of his childhood made sense. Lucas hadn't been cold, he had been scared. Scared his son would disappear into poverty. Scared his son would be crushed by the same machines that crushed him. Scared of a world that didn't forgive dreamers. Ozzy stood slowly. He looked around the office. On the wall was something he'd never noticed before, a small carving in the wood, a crude guitar carved. With a pocket knife. Ozzy traced it with his finger. His father had carved it, not him. Lucas Osbourne believed quietly the song that was never repeated that night. Ozzy didn't go back to his hotel. He sat on the factory floor, pulled out a small travel guitar, and played. Not for fans, not for fame, but for a man who never clapped. The song had no name, just slow chords. Broken notes and a voice rough with age and truth. The echoes filled the factory, finally finishing the song Lucas Osbourne never got to. Here, that the next morning be morning, word spread. Locals gathered outside. Old factory workers, their children, their grandchildren, they saw Ozzy walk out. Eyes red, face peaceful, he turned back once more, placed the letter back inside the lunchbox, and sealed the office door. Some places aren't meant to be reopened again. They're meant to be understood. Why this story is, this isn't just a story about Ozzy Osbourne. It's about every parent who loved silently, every child who misunderstood that silence, and every message that arrives too late, but still arrives. If this story moved you, if you love Ozzy Osbourne, if you believe in voices that rise from darkness, backhand index point right, subscribe to Voices of Darkness. Thumbs up like this video, repeat button, share it with your friends, direct it. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Now prove your love. Comment your name below. Your name might inspire our next story. Because some voices only get heard when you share them. Black Heart.